Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Horse Geeks podcast, where we look at horses and riding from the inside out. I'm Kirsten Nelsen, professional horse trainer, and with me is my good friend Deb Romero, certified Alexander Technique instructor. And today's topic is definitely from the inside out. It's
No
about
kidding.
how rider balance influences horse balance,
Mm,
positively or negatively, right? We make our horse's balance harder to achieve or easier to achieve by how we organize coordination inside our own body. And this applies even if you're sitting in a cart driving a horse.
absolutely.
Yeah, because when we're riding, how we use, like we tend to forget our body is mass that has weight. So, how we organize the weight of the mass has a direct influence on how the horse moves.
Yes.
So, I use, like you do, I worry about balancing myself over gravity, over the
Yes.
footing, over the ground, not staying in the middle of the saddle with equal weight in my stirrups and equal length of reins and that kind of thing, because horses are not always in balance.
That it's not true. It's a constant out of balance situation for me.
Yeah.
If I just focus on maintaining levelness over gravity with my own body, that's that helps the horse in my thinking.
Yes. Because if nothing else, we become a balanced weight for the horse to
Mm,
carry. So, like, even when I would watch Caesar Milan and he had some of the dogs, he would add weight to the dogs using like a strap-on harness or pack
uh-huh.
so that the dogs had to use more energy while you were, taking a walk or doing something. But he really stressed the importance of equal weight on either side of the dog. So, like two
Wow.
equal pickle jars, right? Making sure, and it's the same if you've ever packed a mule, like on packing in the
Mm-hmm.
mountains. It's very important how you pack on it's like a wooden frame that straps onto a mule or a horse like a girth or a saddle, and how you balance the weight. So packers always carry these little scales,
Mm-hmm.
right? To make sure the weight is even left to right on top of the mule or the horse's back, because otherwise they're going to have a lame or a very sore animal by the time they're halfway into their trip. So we don't often think of ourselves as being the weight, the pickle jars, or the stuff we're packing on a mule as being balanced, right?
We don't think of ourselves as being out of balance
Right. We're too busy keeping our shoulders back and looking where
and
we're
our heels
going,
down and our thumbs up. And
right? Yeah. Yeah. Oftentimes, riders are not even aware of their own internal body weight distribution during
completely agree
motion.
with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what my work is all about.
Yeah. And if we think of movement, a horse's movement, whether it's balanced or unbalanced, is generating forces of motion. So just like a river or an ocean or a car
Mhm.
generates the forward force of motion, and then coordination organizes that forward force of motion.
Right. And we could be using poor coordination, poor circuitry, as I would call it, misinformation
Right.
about what is truly trying to get to a neutral place and not being lopsided, like you said. I mean, because if you think about it, to me, it's as simple as looking at a left-handed person or a right-handed person.
Right.
Your habit, if you're right-handed, is to grab things with your right hand first.
until you ding your shoulder up like I did.
Like you did.
Until you mess up your right shoulder. And it's funny because it's like we forget how asymmetrically we use our bodies.
No kidding.
Like we're all built symmetrically, but that left to right balance is a big ass deal
It's
because
huge.
all of us are left-handed and right-handed, and so are horses. And so it's like only until I had a pain issue in my right shoulder did I slow down enough to get
Ah,
handier. So it wasn't more, what do I want to say, muscular effort, or
no, that's not
it
it.
it wasn't a strain. It was like a mental pattern of reaching for things with my left hand. Like I automatically, without thinking, go to grab with my right hand until my shoulder says hello. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I could use my left hand. I have a whole left arm that hasn't been doing much of its fair share with reaching and
Exactly.
lifting and carrying.
And I think you hit the nail on the head, the automatic response. And that's what my work is all about is interrupting that automatic response and questioning,
Even just questioning it.
just questioning it and saying, is there something else?
Yeah. And a pain
Yeah,
issue makes you stop,
it does.
right? It just, "Arr!"
And it can be as simple as a splinter in your toe. I mean, it
Yes.
doesn't have to be a broken limb. It can be a real awakening. For instance, putting on a new pair of shoes. Just, I mean, the tactile information that you get
And a
from that
brand new.
awareness of being present, and that's truly what it is. It's being completely present.
Yeah.
Is can be amazingly enlightening.
Yes. Yes. And so I think when it comes to lateral balance, I separate that aspect of balance from up, down, and front, back. So we're a three-dimensional body,
Mm,
right? And what coordination, a balanced coordination, is going to distribute our body weight to all the areas of our body that are meant to carry it, right? So that we don't need excessive muscle contraction to stay stable or move or sit down, stand up, or
right,
ride a horse, right? So body weight distribution is sort of the purpose of coordination, but we can affect coordination just by being conscious of our body weight distribution.
right. Yeah, there's a saying, it doesn't matter how much weight you carry, it's how you carry your weight.
Yes. So I've
Hmm.
seen one of my good friends, 6 foot guy, 300 pounds, and the way he rode horses
Wow.
and played polo on polo ponies, which are not huge horses, he always looked light. And I go, so it had nothing to do with his size and shape, but
No,
what he had to learn to do in order to be athletic and ride horses or play polo or not destroy these small horses he was riding was he had to master his own weight distribution during motion on horses. So,
and we always talk about it. It's pure physics. It really is.
yeah,
It's just your relationship with gravity and how you choose to use your body over gravity. Because the horses, to me, unless you've got the perfect horse, is out of balance. And
yes, even if you buy a horse that has been trained into a balanced coordination, physics are still physics.
right. And if we're out
So
of balance on a balanced horse,
we're going to cause the horse to
hmm,
become unbalanced.
exactly.
Absolutely. And if we stay balanced on an unbalanced horse, that's exactly how we guide horses into balance, is
Right.
by not losing our balance when the horse does. So this whole concept of move with the horse, it I know
Harder.
it it really kills me because if you think of okay, a horse tilts a little bit left, or the weight of the horse's body shifts a little
Hmm.
more to the left than the right, and we move with the horse. Well, now our body weight is adding to the horse's unequal body weight distribution. So
Bad posture, yeah.
we made the problem worse.
Exactly. Or the thing about the rotating saddle. The
Or the
saddle
saddle
always
slipping. Yeah,
slipping to the
yeah,
left.
yeah.
That is this to me, I tell people the saddle goes with the horse. The saddle is telling you the imbalance of the horse.
And the rider.
Yeah.
Because if we move with a horse, that's a great example. If we
Yes.
move with the horse and the horse has too much weight on the left side, the saddle's going to slip to the left side. And if we're moving with the horse, our weight's going to shift too far to the left side too. And then the whole saddle slips. So we go, oh, I need a tighter girth. I need a sticky pad. I need a narrower
It's
saddle.
my
I need blah, blah,
stirrups.
blah. Right?
Change.
Yeah,
And what is so hard to comprehend is don't ride that.
I know, right?
It's a hard concept to say, but the saddle's over here.
And we're
Don't ride
trained.
that. That's out of balance.
Well, our point of reference, how we're trained traditionally as riders,
Mm,
is keep your seat bones equal, keep your weight equal left to right, keep even pressure in the stirrups, keep an equal length of rein and an even feel on both reins. That's how we're trained to
wow,
find our
that's cool.
balance, right? The problem is we all ride horses that lose balance. And so if that's our point of reference, then you see why our body goes the same direction as the horse's imbalance. So whenever a horse loses balance, if we're trying to keep our seat bones equal, it's like, okay, the back tilts left. So all of a sudden, if we actually kept our seat bones level over gravity, not equal in the saddle,
Hmm.
we would feel the horse drop away from our left seat bone and push upward against our right seat bone when they lose balance. But because we're trained to keep our seat bones equal, we tend to tilt or bend or lean to get the same feel on our seat
Hmm.
bones on a crooked horse.
And I've seen that. I've seen it in so many pictures of, especially going around a turn.
Oh yeah, that's when it's like the
It's
worst.
like, oh, wah, wah,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's the dropped shoulder, you could call it. I mean,
It's
that
drop
it's a,
shoulders,
it's,
it's pop
yeah.
shoulders, it's the
Yep.
saddle slipping,
Mm-hmm.
it's the motorbiking the turn, we call it,
Mm-hmm.
right? And horses in balance are meant to turn by moving the legs inward and outward, not rolling the torso, right?
Exactly.
And
Another
so,
epiphany.
right, when they're not in balance, adducting and abducting the legs appropriately in order to basically turn the torso on the direction of travel. So the front legs turn the front of the torso and the back legs turn the back side of the torso. There's no need for bending or rolling at all, right? But when horses lose balance, they bend and roll.
That's what they do.
That's what they do, right? So if we're moving with the horse, we're likely to bend and roll with them. Or
Exactly.
if our point of reference is equal pressure on our seat bones and feet or hands, then we're going to go into the same imbalance and mirror the horse. Rather than guiding the horse to balance, we're now making the problem worse. We're
Yes.
exaggerating the imbalance,
Hmm.
right? And just like adding weight to any imbalance makes the imbalance bigger, not smaller. And that's what we
Exactly.
are. We're weight, right?
Yes. We are weight
So,
in mass.
and then horses kind of complain about it, and we go, oh, my horse is so naughty. But I go, they're just sort of going, this is really hard. I can't do this with you all
Stupid
over the place
human.
up there, right? Hey, you are my problem. Yeah.
Well, it's really, and we work with this a lot with people, and they go into that once they kind of get this is don't ride the imbalance, that the little light goes off in the brain like, wow, that's a huge thing to,
It's disorienting,
it's very
right? It
disorienting.
is
It's like,
disorienting.
wait a minute,
I don't
what?
get it. Yeah, I
What did
don't
you
get it.
just say? And you
No,
do have to repeat it because the body, our own habitual use, argues with us
right,
about, wait a minute, no, we've been doing it this way forever.
right.
Yes.
So when we're not on a horse, I found this fascinating. So mass, according to even a page on a physics classroom online, they even use the term, it's all the stuff we're made of,
Oh,
right? So mass is just stuff,
ah,
right? So a body is stuff, whether we're talking protons and electrons or cells or
mass,
meat,
energy,
meat and
frequency.
bone, right? Doesn't matter. So then what is weight? If mass is all the stuff we're made of, weight is the force of gravity
Mhm.
acting on that stuff, right? So, like our body having the same mass means we don't fall apart if we go in space where there is no gravity, or if we
Right.
go swim in water where
We have a
gravity has
container.
less of an effect,
We have
right?
a container to hold everything in.
Right. So we are mass in a human shape, and our weight is actually what tells us about our relationship with gravity,
Mhm.
which I just go, that's why we can use weight, attention on our own weight distribution to find our balance, because our weight distribution is always telling us about our real relationship with gravity.
And we can go to the back to the left hand, right hand thing. I caught myself last night out on the porch feeding the dogs, waiting for them to finish, standing on one leg. I was like, what the heck are you doing? So
Well,
you can play that game.
I was gonna ask you, do you find right-handed people tend to carry more weight on the right side? Or do they carry like with more weight on the right side equals more tension on the left side?
That is a great question because some of the things I see with one-sidedness is the dominant side tends to be the more active side,
Hmm.
functionally active, doing small motor skills, and the other side tends to be the tense, stable side.
That's what I was wondering
Yeah, that's what I
because,
notice in humans, and it is amazing to me. I call it the side that's tense. I call it the Rock of Gibraltar side.
yeah,
It's holding
because
everything up because the other side is so busy.
what bodies do in order to not fall over is because we can shift weight all over. We're a living weight,
Right.
a living mass, right? So weight can shift all the time. So when our weight tips too far, like if I was leaning to the
Mhm.
right, every little bit of body weight that's shifting right at the same time is triggering increased muscle force as a
Mhm.
counterbalance in the opposite direction. So it doesn't matter if I'm about to fall forward, my back is going to tense. If I'm going to fall
Right.
backwards, my front's going to
And
tense.
that's
If
just pure
I'm,
biomechanics. That's the way it works.
that's the way we don't fall over,
Exactly.
right? And if we don't have enough muscle strength, when weight shifts too far in any direction, we do fall over.
Exactly.
That's what happens. We fall. So our body, like we have a deep instinct to not fall. That's a big deal,
Mhm.
right? And so as soon as our body senses falling, the weight goes one direction and the muscles tense on the opposite side of the body, even if that's multidimensional, fall forward and to the right, right? We're
And
going to tense on the back and the left.
right. And that I find that so interesting. And when we're talking about riders on horses and this left right thing, that we don't realize when we're going with that methodology of seat bones where stay neutral, that we could be gripping the heck out of one side of our body to try to maintain that.
Yeah. So
It's amazing.
it's a little less obvious, but the other common ways we recognize that we're out of balance left to right with a horse is it's more subtle than the saddle slipping. It's just that feeling that I come across with students all the time. One leg feels shorter than the other.
Yeah. Are my stirrups
Are
the
my
same length?
stirrups even? Right? Right? And a lot of
This
trainers
one
will
feels shorter.
shorten one stirrup for riders
Hmm.
to help them balance. And I go, all that does is leave us in the same dysfunction.
I agree.
And so
Hmm.
stirrups being stirrup leathers remaining equal, because if they're the stretchy kind, we can stretch one out a little bit.
Yep.
But if they're not the stretchy kind, then we can count holes, right? And if our stirrups are the same length, but we don't feel like they're the same length, then either we're crooked and or the horse is crooked,
Hmm.
right? That's kind of how we know. And so a horse's body does exactly the same thing in order not to fall. If weight shifts too far left because they're a living body, then muscle tension increases opposite of excessive weight.
Yes.
So what we feel as riders or drivers is one rein gets light, the other one gets heavy, right? We feel uh, one, like the horse pulls us towards where they have more weight, but the opposite side of the body having excessive muscle contraction is going to push us the same direction at the same time.
Hmm.
So if we are moving with the horse, or we're busy, busy, busy giving a million leg aids and driving and reining and turning and collecting, then we don't even feel that happen.
And it's the timing, the feel and timing of it is so fast.
Oh,
I
it's
have
moment to moment.
it's so quick and it's so hard to get the human. You kind of have to take away the visualness of it and have the people go inward to feel it, because you have to feel it to get your timing
Yeah,
up with the horse. If you're trying to see it, you're going to be 3 or 4 strides behind.
yeah.
Yeah,
And even though gravity's invisible, we can all feel it.
we can all feel
We
it.
can all feel it. And
If we're in tune with what's going on, that
so,
one-sided tightness thing.
well, a lot of times I'll have people drop their stirrups, sit on the horse with legs dangling, and just tune into the force of gravity that's more subtle than the forces of motion generated by the horse. But those are two different forces,
Hmm.
right? We have the forces of motion generated by a horse, and we have the force of gravity. Our balance, no matter how a horse moves, is our relationship to gravity, not the horse.
That's and if there's anything anybody hears from this today, that's it.
That is it in a
That
nutshell.
is it in a nutshell, to balance over gravity. And I think, and we've talked about this before, is sometimes we forget our relationship with gravity when we get on top of a horse.
Completely. It's not
Yeah.
even on the radar in
And
beginner
that's how we come
lessons.
off a lot of the times too, is
Oh,
because
then we remember gravity.
then we're
Yeah.
like, oh, there's gravity right there.
Yeah.
Yep, yep.
Bam.
But that relationship with gravity, and like you, I have people practice just being still on their horse, because the horse is going to shift weight underneath you, even standing.
Right.
And if they can start to feel that those shifts without a forward movement, they're starting to get a key of what is really going on underneath them.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is actually how we feel if horses have really good coordination internally or they don't.
Mm.
Because just like us, when the horse's mass has the weight in all the right places, their relationship to gravity is stable. They just have a
Right.
horizontal relationship to gravity and we have a vertical one.
Right.
But that weight distribution is constantly adjusting muscle tone and skeletal use during
Hmm.
motion. So
Hmm.
coordination manages, it generates and manages forces of motion. When
And
we
to realize
ride,
it's not a place, it's not a position, because it's not stagnant. It's
it's like
dynamic.
surfing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
dynamic. It's constantly you're asking the question, am I balanced over gravity now? Now, now, now. It's
right.
constant.
So if we look at people surfing, there's a bazillion really cool videos on any social media platform. But people surfing, I like to watch because the really good surfers, especially the ones riding the biggest waves, right? Their torso is always pretty stable
Mhm.
and they're using their limbs to manage, almost act against the force of the wave to keep stabilizing. There's no stopping the wave. There's no
Exactly.
telling the wave to slow down or speed up
Turn
or
left, turn
have
right.
longer strides or shorter strides. And on a surfboard, there's nothing to grip. You can't grip with your feet. There's no handrails. There's no nothing. The good side of surfing is if you fall off, you hit water instead of the ground. But even that sometimes
That can
can have a
smack you.
pretty, that can smack pretty
That
hard,
can smack you.
right?
Yeah.
So when you watch surfers, especially what makes surfing elegant is that control over body weight distribution. So the wave is challenging the surfer's relationship with gravity.
Mhm.
And in the context of the wave, gravity still lives under the ocean.
That's what makes the waves.
That's what makes the waves, right? And so what they're doing is not getting in the middle of the wave. Wherever they are, they're finding their relationship to gravity and making minute weight adjustments constantly in order to balance and rebalance and lose and gain that same relationship, vertical relationship with gravity.
I think that's the key, what you said, lose and gain. It's like this game.
You
I
can't
think,
hold it.
no,
Yeah.
there's no like, okay, I got it.
I got
Because
it. I got it. I got it. I got it. I got it.
once you tense up and think, if you have the thinking that it's a place or a right and wrong,
Or a
you're go
position.
or a position, you're going to tense.
Yeah.
And you need the total opposite for to find your balance on a moving target.
Yeah. And I like to imagine, like if I'm riding, I go, my skeleton isn't really visibly moving. My skeleton, that's what makes a rider look still, even though we're never
Mhm.
truly still, right? And so that's what we get told a lot. Hold your hands still, push your heels down to keep your legs still, right? But the stillness of our bones only comes like a surfer if we're constantly adjusting body
Mhm.
weight internally to find and refine and find again in the context of the forces of motion, our stable relationship with gravity.
Yeah.
So we shift body weight and we change muscle tone literally to resist the horse's loss of balance,
Yes.
not to go with it.
Doing.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the key. That's the mind-boggling piece of the equation.
Yeah. If we don't have that mindset, we're going to mirror the horse's imbalance
Hmm.
and we're going to exaggerate any imbalance the horse has. When we
Yes.
keep our own balance, we have a positive influence on the horse's balance. We can't make them change coordination. We kind of think we can, but I go, really?
Not
Coordin
that big of a mass.
Not only not that big of a mass, but coordination is complicated.
Hmm.
Like there's no way rein aids and leg aids and inside legged outside rein is going to really organize a horse's coordination
Hmm.
for them. I go, it kind of has to be discovered, just like we wouldn't strap a kid's hands to the handlebars and feet to the pedals to teach them how to ride a bike,
Right.
right? They need that ability to balance and rebalance while they're learning to ride a bike.
Yeah, and every time I get on, I think I've said this before, what I say to myself are all my joints open and available? Because if I'm locking, that's a sign of tension of information coming up through my body. I have to
Yeah.
listen to that, but I don't have to tense around it. I have
And
to reposition myself to let go of that tension.
yeah. And I think of my body weight like sandbags.
Mm,
So if you think about sandbags and how you put them up in a flooding situation, the sandbag doesn't stop the water, it diverts the water,
good point.
right? So I think of my body weight, and I think that helps me use less muscle in general
Less effort. It's
and
less effort.
and avoid the tension and the locking.
Yes.
But I go, okay, the imbalance of the horse is going to try to shift my sand a
Mhm.
specific direction. So when I put my sand back, I keep my balance.
Right.
And sometimes to help a horse balance, I need to pour a little extra sand on the side that the horse's muscles are tensing and trying to push me away from
Mhm.
balance, right? I have to take the sand away from the low side, put it on the high side,
Right.
right?
And what people realize is they can adapt so fast
Yeah,
because they don't want to be uncomfortable. It's
right.
like, wait a minute, there's something there. And we have to remember it can change. It's not going to be like that forever. It can change in an instant.
It constantly does
Yeah.
change,
So to be that available in your own body, to be constantly seeking your own balance over gravity, I don't know how anybody else does anything else when they ride.
right?
I can't.
So
That's
it's not unusual at all. It is really common for me to get on a horse on the first session or two and feel that horse is pulling me down on the left and
mm-hmm.
pushing me up on the right. Most people are right-handed, most horses are left-handed. So that pulling sensation, trying to move my sand to the left, is where the horse has too much weight. That
Mm-hmm.
pushing sensation that's also trying to push my sand to the left is the side of the body that has too much muscle tension. That's how the horse is not falling over and still
Right.
doing whatever we ask them to do, but is also not balanced. So,
Right. They're trying to balance, but not using their organization to optimally.
right. So
Yeah.
the only way we help them, and I consider rider balance, whether it's in a cart or in a saddle, is my primary aid. I go reins,
Thank you for saying
legs,
that. Thank you for saying that.
how I organize my body weight, depending on how the horse moves,
Hmm.
dynamically has a way bigger influence on horse balance compared to anything I can do with my legs or
Any
my
device,
arms or
whip,
a device. Yeah.
anything. We don't we influence I 90% of the horse's movement when we're on their back.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, and people will ask me, well, I'm crooked the same way my horse is crooked. Was it me that caused it? And I go, it's kind of chicken and egg.
It is.
Like,
Who
and
knows?
the more we ride the same horse, the more these habits of imbalance just
Mhm.
feel normal. And
Well, it's like
so,
that in our own bodies of until, like you said, you have a pain issue.
right,
That's like your wake up call.
right.
It's like, how am I using this thing I have? Am I
Yeah,
optimizing it or am I just getting through the day kind of thing?
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I see it. I want to optimize my use.
Right. So even taking the example, it's pretty extreme for our saddle to actually slip to the left or the right, where we have to like, and what does everybody do unconsciously at halt? They stand up and push down on the right stirrup, right? And I go, but before that happens, we could use our weight to sandbag the right side of the saddle or the left side of the saddle to prevent
Exactly.
it from slipping at all because the horse's body is pulling it that way. And we're
Yeah.
either helping it go or we're trying not to let it go.
And if you want a real eye-opening experience, ride bareback.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you'll get a lot of information very quickly on
Yes.
you better find your balance neutral over the horse or you're gonna fall off. You don't have a saddle to keep you on.
Right. So it's really just about weight shifts, although humans can grip unbelievably well
That's true.
bareback. So I'll also, sometimes people aren't aware of their weight distribution and it's hard to feel. So I'll often say, if you compare your right arm to your left arm, does one feel longer or looser compared to the other one?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with the legs. Does one leg feel shorter or tighter? And if we're still not sure when we're riding, we can look down at our
Yes.
own thigh bones. And it used to fry my brain to feel like I was straight and look down, and one of my thigh bones is higher and farther forward than the other.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, oh, I'm still crooked,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then how much sand do I have to move to the tight side until that tension lets go? The body knows better than I do.
Exactly.
So my brain goes, you're way too far to that side. And my thighs go, yep, that's about right.
It's yeah, we have to
Hmm.
kind of bypass the conversation in our head and
Yeah.
just really go kinesthetic in our own body of what does that feel like?
Yeah. Or where do I have, if my limbs are theoretically supposed to be used symmetrically, right? Then they should feel symmetrical. But
That's a tough one.
yeah,
That's a tough one for people to grasp.
and they should look symmetrical. So even if we
Mm-hmm.
can't
That's a
feel
good
it,
point.
if we take some pictures or
Yep.
video, like especially if I want somebody to see their left-right balance, I'll take a picture directly behind the rider where I can see
Mhm.
both feet, both legs, the belt line, the seat line, the shoulders and arms. If I wanted someone to become aware of their front to back balance, I just take a side view
Yeah. And what the human body really likes from that side view is the human body wants the center of mass over the feet. And that's like the center of mass is right below your belly button. So the picture's a great indicator.
over your feet.
Are you over your feet? Are you
Yeah.
I always say, are you over yourself? That's what I tell people.
Yeah, because if you look at a surfer who's not falling off, that relationship is
That's
constant.
exactly what they have. Same with a jockey,
Hmm.
same thing. The center of mass is over the feet.
Yeah. And if you look at riders, because we have saddles and stirrups and reins, oftentimes the feet are either ahead of the torso by
Mhm.
a lot or they're behind the torso. So if we tilt or arch too far forward, our legs naturally gravitate backwards and puts
Exactly.
our feet behind our center of mass. And if we lean back or slouch, right, with the weight heavy in our seat, then our legs gravitate forward and it puts our feet out in front of our torso.
Yep.
And the saddle supports us so that we don't fall off. And
Right.
so you see it all the time. Those are very common riding positions because we get away with it on a horse where we would never get away with that on a surfboard.
Right. Totally right.
Yeah.
Or in a canoe or a
I was going to
rowboat
say even a
or
kayak or a
a
canoe
kayak, a
or
rowboat,
whatever.
a canoe.
Yeah.
Won't get away with it.
Yeah. Yeah, because a force of water doesn't have an opinion. It's just going to keep coming. And if we look at our horse like a river of force rather than taking things personally or deciding
Exactly.
our horse is lazy or hot or stubborn or whatever, we're just reading the forces of motion like a flow of water. It's not personal.
No,
I go, I think horses are always doing the best they can with what they know, and so are
just
people.
like us. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like us.
And so when we think of horses like our aids sort of puppeteering body parts, we don't get it right. When we think of managing forces of motion, when we balance over gravity within those forces of motion, we automatically enhance horses' balance because we're resisting the imbalances instead of falling prey to the imbalances,
It's dynamic.
adding to the problem.
It's like a orchestra when it flows like that.
Yeah. And it's like we have fun, not because, I mean, okay, there's some fun paddling around a very calm, still lake, but
Mhm,
it's also fun to go tubing down a river or do
mhm.
river rafting because of the waves or surfing because of the waves.
Right.
So when a horse loses balance, those forces of motion are kind of chaotic. It's like a really wavy ocean or a really strong current in a river. And it kind of splashes around. And when horses are in balance, it feels very streamlined. It's
There's
organized forces of
exactly.
motion.
There's
And
stillness. There's a level of stillness that I don't know how else to describe it.
but it's stillness within big
Motion.
movement. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's
I
not
think it's because, and we can go into it in detail at some point, but the axial skeleton of the human and the horse are functioning optimally.
yeah.
And
So they're
that's the level
stable.
of they're stable
Yeah.
and the stability muscles are working, the mobility muscles are working, and it's like an orchestra.
Yeah. Because balance, according to physics, means equalized forces in opposing directions,
Mhm.
right? So if we put that in terms of body weight, depending on the shape, right? That there's, well, at least left to right in horse bodies and human bodies, it should always theoretically be equal,
Theoretically. Let's play with that on the ground, shall we, people?
right?
let's let's see how you stand in line at the grocery store or
Right,
talking with a friend to challenge yourself to see what your habit is.
right. Which shoe do you wear out first,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So when it comes to front, back, and up, down balance, it's a little different between vertically shaped humans and horizontally shaped horses, but it's not all that different because we're trying to equalize forces front to back horizontally in both bodies, and we're trying to equalize forces vertically up to down.
Hmm.
So it's the same. It's the same because horses and humans both have axial skeletons, both have body weight, both move and stabilize during movement. So there's a whole lot that's in common. And it just, when we get into the details of it, it can be a little different.
Right.
But but as far as ideal weight distribution is balance because it's equalizing the use of the body in three dimensions.
Hmm. I
Up,
mean, you could even play if you had pressure plates, or maybe go to one of those Dr. Scholl things and stand on them and see the difference that light up in your feet.
well, I think that's why that Bosu ball or a half ball,
The half
right?
ball's really fun.
Really fun and really popular because when you're working on balance with or without lifting weights or doing Pilates, it's like when we're standing on an air-filled ball, it exaggerates our internal weight distribution.
And what's amazing is when you put somebody on it the first time, what they tend to do is startle and tense.
Hmm. Yeah, because we feel like we're going to fall.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. Instead of what we have to do in real life is, yes, that may happen. We have to learn to interject and say, no, no, that's just not what we need to do right now.
Well, what I find is Between actually falling over and ideal balance, equalizing body weight in three dimensions, there's a huge gray area
Mm,
where we can be not in balance, but not falling over.
yes.
And that's where most horses and people live, is
Yep.
somewhere in that gray area, either a lot or a little.
Right.
And sometimes it isn't until we fall that it wakes us up, right? Or maybe we've never experienced balance because we've never worked on it.
Hmm.
And so we don't realize we're in that gray area, not falling, but not balanced.
And like you said, that's where videos or pictures can be extremely helpful
Right.
to just, it's a wake up call.
Yeah. Because at least with surfing or one of those half balls, it's like the second you lose balance, it's greatly exaggerated. Right? But
Yep.
it kind of takes a lot more because of saddles and bridles, or even bareback, because a horse has this big rectangular torso with four
Mhm.
legs under it. Horses are far less likely to actually fall over compared to people,
Exactly.
right? We kind of teeter on our feet, but horses have four legs, all their limbs are on the ground, so they can be massively out of balance and still get a lot of things done
Exactly.
and not fall over. So just and this was a huge epiphany for me in my development as a trainer, is at one time I used to think if the horse could do a flying lead change, then a balanced canter is a result. If the horse could
Oh,
maintain the canter, then by maintaining canter, we're going to develop balance. It was completely backwards because
interesting.
all that really does is the horse will do it, but will figure out how to do it by any means necessary.
And humans do the same thing.
Right.
Yeah, we do. We forget that we have a choice. If somebody says, "Go get my keys on the kitchen table," we can choose to do that poorly just to get it done, or we can choose to pause and say, "Well, wait a minute."
As soon as you said that, my right arm starts reaching, right? And I'm like, oh yeah, use my
Well,
left arm.
that, if you think of it, that's a sense of brain security. It's like, "Oh yeah, I got that. It's in this box over here. Just open it, click it, do
Yeah,
it like that."
yeah. It's all in the programming.
And
Yes.
that's what the Alexander technique is challenging that
Right. Can you
is.
pause when you say go get the keys off the
Mhm.
table? Can you pause and maybe choose the opposite hand?
Yeah,
Right? Or could you choose to stay in balance while you're reaching with your arm?
or choose not to get the keys.
Or choose not to get the keys. I gotta go, gotta go, gotta go.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Change that thought.
Yeah, that one didn't even occur to me.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my goodness. Okay.
yeah, so how we balance as riders, like being mass with weight, it's never neutral on a
No, and
horse's
to me, it's
balance.
like I am so geeky. I'm so excited about it because it's always changing. It's never the same.
I know it's never boring, even
It's
at the
never
walk.
boring. I mean, people must think, what the heck am I doing out there?
Yeah, and what's so funny is if I'm helping a rider with their balance, all of a sudden walking feels really fast on a horse.
Mhm. Yeah.
And yeah, and so some people, like I'll get a lot of criticism for
Yep.
not moving riders along fast enough. And I go, they can barely keep up with what they have to do at the walk. Like, the trot and canter is typically, if we're right-handed, it doesn't matter if we're walking, trotting, or cantering, or even if we're right-handed, running a marathon doesn't make us left-handed. I
Exactly.
I go, that's going to require picking up the keys with the other hand,
Yep.
right? Or brushing your teeth with the other hand,
All of those
right?
fun things to try.
And in order to do that, we naturally slow down. Like
Exactly.
it isn't about going just as fast. It's about getting the coordination in a different
Hmm.
way. And so it's interesting that all of a sudden people are overwhelmed at the walk on a horse when they start to
When they start
really
thinking.
when they start paying attention to where is the horse trying to pull my sand or push my sand, and where does it need to be that's under my control. And when we're adding weight, when we're increasing, like when I shift if the saddle is slipping left, I'm going to have to shift a lot of my sand to the right to prevent the slipping, right? During motion. And so if I do that, the direction the saddle is slipping is where the horse has too much weight, and the direction that's pushing the saddle that way has too much muscle tension.
Hmm.
So just like when you've given me a massage and you put a little weight into a tight muscle, that is not comfortable,
No,
right?
it's a
So
wake up call.
yeah. So it isn't the weight that releases the muscle.
No.
It's our weight that makes tight muscles in horses kind of uncomfortable to keep sustaining.
Try. And you know what's cool about horses is they go, "Oh, okay, maybe I need to change something here."
Yeah, they're not attached to their habits.
They're
No,
not. They're
no.
like, "This is uncomfortable. Maybe I should do something different."
Yeah,
What they offer you might not be perfect, but at least they're offering something.
they change and they begin a process of rearranging
Hmm.
their own coordination. And after enough changes and enough rearrangements, they kind of accidentally find a moment of balance.
And that, believe it or not, for humans and horses, makes the central nervous system happy.
Yeah, balance makes the central nervous system very
Very
happy.
happy.
Yeah,
The wrinkles go out of your face. You
yeah,
don't have that worried look.
yeah. Because you feel safe when you're truly aligned with gravity.
Exactly.
It triggers a sense of safety because the body is telling the brain, you're nowhere near falling over.
Yeah, you're fine. You're okay.
Right, you're okay. You're not going to fall.
I did my final paper in Alexander school. I actually took an she'd been practicing, I think, 30 years, and put her on a horse. And she was able to figure out balance right away, which was completely amazing to me.
But that, if she can find balance, if she can get her sea legs on a
Yeah,
boat,
that's exactly what she did. She
it's the
immediately went,
same
oh,
skill.
here it
Hmm.
is. It's all available to me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes. And so that's somebody who is just more aware of their own internal coordination. So when you change forces of motion, you can adapt because the
Yes.
central nervous system says we need this, even though there's these forces of motion pulling and pushing against that.
And it's a tough inner conversation sometimes.
And that's why some riders can stay on horses through a bolt or a buck or a rear or a big fancy movement or huge jumps and racing, is because that internal organization, whether
Yes.
they're even aware of it or not, they've figured out either instinctively or it was kind of in there where they need to be over gravity, no matter
Hmm.
what else is
No
happening.
matter what, where you
Hmm.
are over gravity, no matter what. And that applies on and off the horse.
Absolutely.
It's just the truth. It's just the truth.
Yeah. Yeah, because gravity works 24/7. It
Yep.
doesn't give us a
Doesn't
break.
lie, doesn't
Hmm.
change.
Yeah. Yeah. So we can resist gravity and not fall and puts us in that gray area of dysfunction. Or what actually balancing over gravity gives us is ease. It gives us ease of motion. Same
It's
thing for a
availability
horse.
too. You're much more
Hmm.
available to do something
Right.
when you're in that place.
And I think that's a good place to wrap it up. So hopefully we've shed some light
Light
on
bulb.
riding, that your horse isn't trying to unload you for no reason. Your horse isn't trying to make the saddle slip or
Nope.
not slow down or won't go forward. It's like
They're
there's,
just out of balance.
yeah, absolutely. So thanks for joining us, everyone. And hopefully we stay back on track with our podcasts.
Yes, it's on my calendar.
So far, 2 weeks in a row. That's good.
We're good. We're
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us. Thanks for sharing, liking, subscribing, all the usual stuff. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next episode.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.